Hey everyone, let's jump right into this explainer and break down exactly how you can reclaim your workday. We're going to look at the definitive 2026 AI tech stack, which is designed for one highly specific purpose: escaping the admin tax. Look, if you feel like you're working 10 hours a day, furiously typing away, but barely making a dent in your actual long-term projects, you are definitely not alone. It's a modern epidemic. The tools we're exploring today are the exact solutions you need to systematically dismantle that administrative burden and get back to the work that actually matters.
Here is our roadmap. We'll start with the productivity crisis itself, then hit our 5 key tools: Alfred for email triage, Motion for auto-scheduling, Radiant for meeting capture, Perplexity for deep research, and Notion AI for workspace management. Let's get to it.
All right, Section 1, the productivity crisis.
So, let's start with a pretty brutal truth about why you feel totally burned out, despite sitting at your desk all day long. According to extensive research from Asana, a staggering 58% of your time is just gone, completely lost to this concept known as work about work. That leaves only 33% of your week for the skilled output you are actually hired and trained to do. When we talk about skilled output, we mean deep focused thinking, strategic planning, creative problem solving. The rest of the time? It's just bleeding away into administrative overhead, updating statuses, chasing down approvals, and managing communication.
And this administrative tax isn't just time-consuming, it is mentally exhausting. It forces you to constantly switch contexts. You know the exact feeling, right? You're right in the middle of writing a crucial, complex report, and suddenly a Slack notification pings, an urgent email pops up, and you've instantly forgotten your entire train of thought. Researchers at UC Irvine actually quantified this phenomenon, and they found that every single one of these interruptions costs you 23 minutes just to refocus your brain and get back to your original level of concentration. It's a massive structural flaw in how we work today.
But here is the good news. We finally have a proven way out. A recent, incredibly extensive meta-analysis published by the University of Canterbury meticulously analyzed over 1,000 different data estimates across 45 distinct academic papers. Their conclusion is absolutely undeniable. Using generative AI delivers a remarkable 17% average productivity jump across a huge variety of real-world office tasks. Think about what that actually means for a moment. A 17% increase is essentially getting almost an entire workday back every single week. The science proves the gain is absolutely there. The trick is applying the right sequence of tools to actually capture it.
Moving on to Section 2, Alfreda and Mastering Email Triage.
To start claiming that 17% back, we have to tackle the morning's absolute biggest bottleneck first. The average office worker gets hit with roughly 121 emails every single day. Because of that insane, relentless volume, the old inbox zero philosophy that was coined 20 years ago, it's now completely unsustainable if you try to do it manually. It's literally just not humanly possible to process that much daily noise, sort out what's important, reply to everything thoughtfully, and still have any mental energy left to think critically about your actual job.
So the real contrast here is massive. The old way means you're in the trenches, manually organizing folders, setting up complex filters, and starring messages yourself. The new way is Alfred. For $24.99 a month, Alfred acts as an autonomous assistant. It doesn't just give you a cleaner user interface, it actually does the cognitive work for you. It securely triages the noise, drafts context-aware replies in your specific writing style, and intelligently extracts action items from those massive threads, all while you sleep. You literally wake up, open your laptop, and are greeted with a curated daily brief of work that's already been processed.
All right, Section 3, Motion and auto-scheduling.
Now that our incoming emails are perfectly triaged and our action items are extracted, we need to actually figure out when to do the work. Without AI, you're forced into a stressful, daily game of manual calendar Tetris. You basically have to blindly guess how long a task might take, nervously drag a block onto your schedule, and then endlessly shuffle those blocks around when a client meeting inevitably runs late or a sudden priority shift throws your whole afternoon into chaos. It's an incredibly fragile system.
Motion totally solves this by taking the scheduling burden off your plate entirely. You just feed it your tasks, their respective priorities, and their hard deadlines. Motion takes all those variables and intelligently auto-schedules them into dedicated, protected time blocks on your calendar. Imagine the peace of mind knowing your calendar adapts to chaos rather than breaking because of it. If a massive, urgent fire pops up at 2 p.m., Motion instantly and dynamically reschedules your entire week to accommodate it, respecting your personal working hours and making sure no strict deadlines are missed.
Which brings us to Section 4, Radiant and Meeting Capture.
With our daily schedule tightly locked in, we inevitably move into meetings. Radiant completely automates your meeting workflow, and what makes it truly brilliant is how frictionless it is. It runs entirely locally as a native Mac app. That means you do not have to invite those awkward, glaring AI meeting bots into your sensitive client calls, which, let's be honest, everyone secretly hates. It captures the discussion securely right on your device, extracts the precise action items, generates the summary, and then automatically pushes structured follow-ups right into the tools your team already uses, like a designated Slack channel, a linear ticket, or a Notion page. You can actually look people in the eye and focus on the conversation, instead of aggressively typing notes.
Next up, Section 5, Perplexity and Deep Research.
Later on in the day, when it's finally time to execute on those captured action items, you often have to dive into heavy, time-consuming desk research. Perplexity fundamentally changes this whole information-gathering process. Through its powerful deep research feature, it basically acts as your personal research analyst. Instead of you opening 20 different tabs, it reads widely and deeply across the web to compile highly structured, comprehensive briefs. And unlike standard conversational chatbots that can sometimes hallucinate, it features built-in, meticulously numbered citations, so you can instantly verify every single claim. You can even select different underlying AI models, like Claude or Gemini, depending on the specific nuance of your task, and export the beautifully formatted final report directly to PDF.
And finally, Section 6, Notion AI and Workspace Management.
At the very end of the day, all of this incredible output, from your intelligently triaged emails, your extracted meeting action items, and your newly minted deep research briefs, needs a centralized home. Notion AI turns a traditional, static company wiki into a genuinely intelligent, breathing workspace. For example, it can instantly take those raw meeting notes that Radiant captured earlier and convert them into beautifully organized, trackable project tables without any prompting whatsoever. It writes, it summarizes, it translates, and it meticulously structures your data across your entire database, seamlessly connecting the dots of your workday without you having to manually type or format a single thing.
So, what does this all mean? The overarching takeaway across all 5 of these powerful tools is a massive paradigm shift in how professionals operate. Think about it. Traditional productivity software over the last decade just gave you more dashboards, more lists, and more colorful interfaces to manually manage. It ultimately created more work. But this 2026 AI stack, Alfred, Motion, Radiant, Perplexity, and Notion AI, actually does the administrative work for you. It takes the heavy lifting completely out of your hands.
With 58% of your precious time currently trapped in busy work, and the rigid science proving that a 17% productivity gain is sitting right there waiting for you, the path forward is abundantly clear. The only question left to ask yourself today is this. Once you finally fire yourself as your own administrative assistant, what will you build with all that newly discovered free time? Thanks for joining this explainer. We'll see you next time.